As I'm sure you have picked up, I have written down the first 5 numbers in the 3 times table. And what we are working on here is multiples. A multiple is a number that appears in a particular number's timetable. So 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15 all appear in the 3 timetable. So 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15 are the first 5 multiples of 3. These particular numbers are not all multiples of 6 because not all these numbers appear in the 6 times table. The only multiples of 6 that are written down here would be 6 because 6 times 1 is 6, and 12 because 6 times 2 is 12. 3 does not appear in the 6 times table, 9 does not appear in the 6 times table, and 15 does not appear in the 6 times table. So if we look at another example, if we list the first 5 multiples of 5, we would get 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. The first 5 multiples of 15 would be 15, 30, 45, 60, and 75. The first 5 multiples of 7 would be 7, 14, 21, 28, and 35. The first 5 multiples of 10 would be 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. What I have listed here are the factors of 6. So I have written all the factors of 6 down because 1 times 6 is 6, 2 times 3 is 6, and there will be no other whole numbers that fit perfectly into 6. Let's have a look at 5. The factors of 5 are 1 and 5. And as we might already know, if a particular number only has 2 factors, that makes this number a prime number. If a particular number like 6 has more than 2 factors, it is called a composite number. Let's look at 14. The factors of 14 would be 1, 2, 7, and 14. Let's look at 24. The factors of 24 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. So we just need to remember that a factor of any number is a number that fits perfectly into that particular number. So 2 is a factor of 24 because 2 fits perfectly into 24 12 times, which makes 12 also a factor of 24. 4 is a factor of 24 because 4 times 6 is 24, which means that 4 fits perfectly into 24 6 times, which makes 6 a factor of 24 as well. Two times 12 gives you an answer of 24. So we know that both 2 and 12 are therefore factors of 24. We also know that 24 is therefore a multiple of both 12 and 2. Another example, 3 times 15 is equal to 45. That makes 3 a factor of 45, and 15 is therefore also a factor of 45 because they both fit into 45 perfectly. This also means that 45 is a multiple of both 15 and 3. Let's look at 7 times 13, which gives us an answer of 91. 7 is therefore a factor of 91, as is 13. 91 is therefore a multiple of both 13 and 7 because it would appear in both the 7 timetable and the 13 timetable. Let's have a look at 12 times 11, which is equal to 132. 12 would be a factor of 132 because it fits into 132 perfectly 11 times, and vice versa. 11 is a factor of 132 because it fits perfectly into 132 12 times. So 12 and 11 are factors of 132, and 132 is a multiple of both 11 and a multiple of 12. We are going to explore what is both a factor and a multiple of 18. We know that we can list the factors of 18 by listing all the numbers that fit perfectly into 18. And we can list the multiples of 18 by listing the numbers that appear in the 18 timetable. But that might be a slight waste of time because we know that the highest factor of 18 will always be 18, and the lowest multiple of 18 will always be 18. Why is that? Because 18 divided by 1 will give you an answer of 18, and 18 times 1 will give you an answer of 18 as well. 18 divided by 1 will give you your highest factor, and 18 times 1 will give you your lowest multiple. And that applies to any number in the world. As we can see, a question such as what is both a factor and a multiple of 18 or any number, our answer will be 18 or that particular number. So if your question is what is both a factor and a multiple of 27, your answer will be 27 because 27 is your highest factor of 27 and it is your lowest multiple of 27. If they ask you a question such as what is both a factor and a multiple of 1003, your answer will be 1003 because 1003 is your highest factor of 1003 and 1003 is your lowest multiple of 1003. We are now going to have a look at lowest common multiples, often known as the LCM. If you are asked to find the LCM of 5 and 10, you would then need to, because we are looking for the lowest common multiple, we know that we could list the multiples of 5 and we can list the multiples of 10, but because it has to be common, we know that it has to be both a multiple of 5 and a multiple of 10. And because the multiples of 10 only start with 10, we're going to look at the bigger number and start listing the multiples of the bigger number and see whether those multiples are also multiples of our smaller number. So we start with 10, and we need to remember that we are looking for the lowest common multiple. So there are 3 components. It has to be common to both 10 and 5, which means it has to be a multiple of both 10 and 5, and it has to be the lowest one. So we start listing the multiples of the bigger number, which is 10. So we start with 10, and we need to now see, is 10 a multiple of 5? And we're lucky, it's actually the first multiple of 10 is a multiple of 5 as well. So 10 would therefore be our answer. 10 is the lowest common multiple, or the LCM, of 5 and 10. If we have a look at the LCM of 2 and 3, again, we need to have a look at the bigger number. So 3 is our bigger number. So we need to start listing the multiples of our bigger number, which is 3. So we say 3. Is 3 a multiple of 2? No, it isn't. So we need to continue listing the multiples of 3 until we find a multiple of 2 as well. So 3, and then we've got 6. Okay, now is 6 a multiple of 2? Yes, it is, because 2 times 3 equals 6. So therefore, 6 is our lowest common multiple of 2 and 3. If we have a look at the LCM of 4 and 6. Okay, so again, we are going to be first listing the multiples of the bigger number, which is 6. So we start with 6. Is 6 a multiple of 4? No, it isn't. So we go on to the next multiple of 6, which is 12. Is 12 a multiple of 4? It is. 4 fits into 12 3 times. So therefore, 12 is our lowest common multiple of 4 and 6. Right, we are going to have a look at the HCF, or the highest common factor. So if we are trying to find the highest common factor of 15 and 3, what we need to do is list the factors, all the factors of our smaller number, because there will be fewer factors usually in our smaller number. So we list the factors of 3, which is 1 and 3. We know that 1 is a factor of all numbers. So if we are just looking for a common factor, then we can use 1. But because we are specifically looking for our highest common factor, we need to look for a slightly higher number. So we've got 1 and 3 are factors of 3. Now we need to look. We know that 1 is a factor of 15, but we need to see whether 1 is the highest common factor between 15 and 3, and we see that actually 3 fits into 15 perfectly 5 times. So 3 is a factor of 15, so the highest common factor of 15 and 3 will therefore be 3. If we have a look at the HCF, or the highest common factor of 24 and 18, we again need to list all the factors of our smaller number. So the factors of 18, 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. So then we start with the highest factor of 18, which is 18, and we say, is 18, we ask ourselves, is 18 a factor of 24? No, it isn't. Then our next highest factor, 9, is 9 a factor of 24? No, it isn't, so that we can cross those out. Then we look at 6, is 6 a factor of 24? Yes, it is. So 6 would be our the highest common factor between 24 and 18. If we have a look at the highest common factor between 7 and 91, we then need to list the factors of 7, which is 1 and 7. We then need to have a look. Yes, we know that 1 is a factor of 91 because 1 is a factor of all numbers, but now we need to have a look to see where the 7 fits perfectly into 91. So we can do a division on the side. Let's just make sure. Does 7 fit into 91? 7 into 9 fits once, remainder 2. 7 into 21 fits 3 times, perfectly, no remainders. So we would find out that 7 is the highest common factor between 7 and 91.